Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Nefertiti, and I am with One Body Wellness and Metaphysics. And you can find me on the web at onebodywm.wixsite.com, where you can book a session with me. I am a certified crystal healer, astrologer, and I am also a fitness professional, mind body fitness professional, and I teach yoga and mat Pilates. And I'm also a plant-based nutrition coach, okay, certified plant-based nutrition. So I'm actually going to be streaming on a couple of platforms here on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Periscope. So let's just get that set up really quick. April 2. Give me a second here. But yes, I hope that you're doing well wherever you are. This particular new moon is very potent, even though it's not like a full moon or a super moon or anything like that. It's definitely a potent one for transformation. 2018 is the year of transformation. So I'm trying to get this whole thing set up here. Bear with me because, this is Mercury retrograde after all. And definitely have our technical difficulties sometimes during Mercury retrograde. But that's okay because we can roll with it, right? We can roll with it. So give me 1 second. I'm getting set up right now. Hello to anyone that's joining. But yes, I don't know about you, but this has definitely been a year of transformation for me. And the past couple of years really have been a year of transformation. And I appreciate it now, but it's been rough sometimes. It's been rough sometimes. So, and that's okay. All right, so I think we are live. Yes, let me flip this around. Okay, so once again, thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Nefertiti, and I am with One Body Wellness. And you can find me on the web at onebodywm.wixsite.com, where you can book a session with me. So tonight we are going to talk about, or today, wherever you are, we're going to talk about the Aries new moon. Let me make sure that doesn't make that noise anymore. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. Okay. Stop it. What can you do, right? What can you do? So, anywho, like I said, we are talking about the Aries new moon, which is going to be exact on April 15th, 2018 at 6:57. I'm going to actually just take this off of here. How about that? There, that should stop all that beeping, which is exact on April 15th, 2018 at 6:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, use your time zone converter wherever you are and plug that in so that you can see what time this new moon is exact for you. So new moons are always about fresh energy, bringing in fresh energy. And in this particular time frame, we're talking about Aries. So this is the beginning of a new lunar cycle and really the beginning of what we consider the astrological new year. Technically, it's on Ostara, which is March 21st, 22nd, the spring equinox. But this is like actually, astrologically speaking, our first new moon, right? So that's really, really exciting, especially since we've gone through a lot of shifts with the eclipses that happened at the end of last year and just kind of integrating that energy still. It's been a process for a lot of people. I mean, I talk to people like my coaching clients, and I also talk to people that come to my yoga classes, and they tell me, like, wow, I'm going through so many changes, so many shifts, and, when is it going to stop? Well, I can't answer that, but I do know that the energy of transformation and change is going to be with us throughout the year and throughout the summer, especially when we have Saturn and Mars going retrograde and all kinds of stuff happening in the summer. But I'm going to talk about that in another video. So, anyways, if you're just joining me, my name is Nefertiti Phillips, and I am with One Body Wellness, and this is the One Body Wellness audio vlog. And you can find me on the web at onebodywm.wixsite.com, where you can book a session with me. I am a certified crystal healer, astrologer. I, excuse me, I'm also a certified spiritual life coach. I help people to develop their spiritual practices, meditation, yoga, whatever it is that they need to do. And I help people create structure around that. And I'm also a certified plant-based nutritionist. So I help people to transition to a vegan lifestyle. Okay. So we'll talk later on too about setting intentions, which is really, really important at the new moon or shortly after the new moon. You want to set the intentions when the moon is not void, of course, and when the moon kind of has a crescent on it is when you want to set your intentions, because when the moon is dark, you can't see it, right? So the implication is that if you can start to see the moon and really feel the energy of it coming towards you, it's a good time to set your intentions then. All right. So with this particular new moon, which again occurs at 6:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are becoming more aware of what is no longer sustainable in our lives, what no longer supports us, what no longer nourishes our soul, what no longer resonates, what no longer is serving us in a positive way. Okay. And we, with Aries, we're always committed. Okay. Aries, well, I don't want to say Aries are committed, but it's about committing to your goals. This particular new moon in Aries is about committing to your goals, committing to your long-term goals, your short-term goals, and taking planned, pragmatic action. Okay. This new moon is about believing in yourself. Most people don't get what they want in life because they don't believe that they can have it. When I talk to my spiritual coaching clients, and myself included, we most of the time, 99% of the time, we're dealing with self-worth issues. This is the reason why we don't have the job or the career we want, why we don't live the life that we want, why we don't have the relationship, the money, because we don't feel like we deserve it. On some level, it might not be conscious because you're thinking, like, why would I feel, like I don't deserve my good? But it's literally true. And I just talk to people, and this is what comes up, is that they're not good enough. They're not good enough. But you have to ask yourself, for whom? And according to whose standards, right? So that's what this Aries new moon is about, kind of really honing in on that. Who are you? Who do you think you are? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Who do you think you are? Those are just opinions and ideas in somebody else's head, which really is not relevant to you. Okay. Now, we're talking also about, this energy highlighting bad habits. And, a habit is something that you just do over and over again, which is linked to your thinking, right? Because you got to think about something before you do it. So it's going to kind of put a light on that, shed a light on that, how you're sabotaging yourself or how you're not finishing things, right? Because that's kind of a shadow trait of Aries, is they like to start things, but not necessarily finishing them. They kind of do and then think about it later. Okay. But they're also pioneers. The Aries are warriors, right? These are the people that are on the front line and are willing to take those risks, and that's good. We need people like that. We need people to kind of help us to move forward, to on an unconscious level, to give us permission to move forward with our goals and our dreams. And that's what Aries people do, right? People born under the sun sign of Aries. Now, this is a general kind of interpretation for all of the signs. I'm going to go through that in a little bit, but If you want a more personal reading, then you would book a session with me, and I would look at your chart based on, the time of day that you were born, location, and we can get more specific. Okay. But in general, everyone is going to be affected by this energy because this year is just about transformation, and we have lots of planets moving. Like Chiron's going to be moving into Aries and joining Uranus for a little bit until Uranus moves on. And then we've got Venus moving into Gemini, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, getting ahead of myself. So with Aries energy, these changes are going to require us to step out of our comfort zones, right? And that is what keeps most people from doing what it is they need to do. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to be inconvenienced. They don't want to fail. That's a huge one. I don't want to fail. But I can promise you that you're going to fail sometimes. And that just means there's another opportunity for you to get back up and try again, to start fresh, to start new. That's the most important thing, I think, to remember with your goals and your dreams is to, no matter what happens, just decide right now as you're watching this video to never give up. No matter what happens, no matter what unfolds before you, you might have to try some different things. You might have to make some adjustments. You might get set back, but never, ever give up, because we come here to this planet with a mission, a soul mission, a life purpose, a passion. And that is how we're going to not only serve humanity, but and have our happiness, have our joy, have our peace. But if you're not doing that because you're afraid, that's a big one, because you're afraid or because you feel unworthy. You have everything that you need within you right now. It has to be cultivated. It has to be nurtured. You have to train yourself. You have to work on yourself and bring these things up, which is, sometimes covered up with a lot of subconscious bullshit programming that we've gotten from our parents, from well-meaning adults, from the world around us. And these things have to be removed. They have to be dissolved so that we can see who we are, our true divine nature, who we came here to be. And that is what this energy is helping us to do. It's not necessarily going to be an easy thing for a lot of us, especially if we're resisting change, if we are not really in tune with what's going on. We're kind of in this space of denial, or we are in a space of self-destruction. And this is going to keep us from moving forward. It's going to keep us from evolving. And you will evolve. You will evolve, but you have a choice. And that's why I like tools like astrology and crystals and working with metaphysics, because you have a choice as to how fast you're going to evolve. You can choose to evolve with everybody else and choose to do it very, 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 very slowly. And that is your choice. That is your choice. Or you can choose to utilize the tools that are already within you, the skills that are already within you, the talents, the gifts that you came into the world to give. And your consciousness, your vibration, your ascension will be accelerated because the world needs you. And now that you're willing to step up to the plate and take ownership of your talents, of your gifts, the universe is going to respond and support you. Okay? That's how it works. But you've got to get over that fear. You've got to get over that fear. And you're no longer going to be able to deny your soul. It's going to be like this nagging thing that you're thinking about all the time while you're sitting at that dead end ass job, or you're in that relationship that's been over. You guys are just too scared. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye, right? I mean, that's just energy that's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you from moving forward, and it's damaging your soul. It's like my grandmother used to say, it's vexing your soul, baby. It's vexing your soul. And you're not going to be able to evolve. You've got to move out of these situations. This new moon in Aries is about spiritual bravery. Spiritual bravery. Okay. Aries is the warrior. Aries people are very brave and courageous by nature. So well, it all depends on other aspects too, but generally speaking, Aries people are very brave, very courageous. And this is the energy that we need to have when it comes to making those changes and transitions in our lives. We can no longer allow fear to stop us. We need to learn how to do it afraid. and be willing to take the slings and arrows, because they're going to come, just because we are all different. We all have different preferences, and people are at different places in their life and in their evolution. So we have to be willing to take that, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's who you are, right? That's somebody's opinion of you. But what is your opinion of you? And that takes inner reflection. That takes having the confidence and the ability to look within, right? The want to look within. Not, some people don't want to look within because they're afraid of what they're going to see. But at some point, you got to face what's in you. Otherwise, you'll never live up to your greatness. You'll never come to this planet. You'll just be wasting time. Nobody will even know that you were here, right? You're just going to be passing through. Nobody even knew you existed. I mean, that's just kind of crazy, right? So, anyways, take that leap of faith. Learn and understand about yourself. Okay. There's lots of tools available to us now. I mean, there's more information to us available to us now than ever before. Things that you can use for self-discovery, yoga, meditation. There's lots of personality tests online. There's lots of things, going on a retreat, spending some time in solitude, not isolation, but solitude, journaling. These are all ways that you can get to know who you really are, figuring out what it is that you want and what it is that you are here to do. I remember doing a meditation back in 2007 and asking very specifically, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? And I heard very clearly, you are a teacher. Now, at the time, I didn't know what I was supposed to be teaching. I was already in the fitness industry and I was doing personal training and things like that. But, teacher can mean a lot of things. And so I was like, oh, does that mean I have to go back to school and get a teaching degree? That's not really what I want to do. And all I kept hearing was, everything will be revealed to you in time. Everything will be revealed to you in time. But for now, it's time for you to learn. And I remember immersing myself in spiritual material, metaphysical material, listening to Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, Bruce Lipton. These were all people that were regularly playing on my playlist. I mean, just listening to things I never even knew about, right? Secrets of the universe, the law of attraction, and how if I change my mind, I can change my life. Now, I had heard messages like this before in being in church, but not to that level of understanding, of clarity, and actually given tools to use, giving practical steps by these teachers, these great thinkers, to implement in my life. And so that's what this energy is about, is taking those steps, step by step, bit by bit, taking the action, taking the leap of faith, and trusting that if it's in you, if it's a passion of yours, it's something that you love to do, then the world needs it and you will be supported. You will be supported, but you got to have that spiritual bravery and be the warrior, be the Aries, right? And at the time of this new moon, Mercury is going to be stationing direct. Now, the energy of retrogrades are most potent when the planet is actually going in retrograde and going into station direct. Okay, so this is going to be a very intense day, right? Just a lot of energy floating around, a lot of fresh energy, but I would say maybe give yourself a couple of days, give Mercury a few days to kind of get back online. This particular Mercury retrograde was really intense, because this is Aries we're dealing with, right? So, Aries wants to go, Aries wants to take action, but Mercury's like, oh, hold on. This is a time for review. This is a time for journaling. This is a time for all of those rewords. This is not the time to start new projects. Although you want to, there's a burning desire. You're thinking about it because this is Mercury. You're thinking about your new projects. You're thinking about all the things you want to do, but the energy is not there for you to take action. Or maybe you did take action, and when Mercury goes direct, you might have to make some adjustments wherever Mercury falls into your chart. Now, this is when Mercury goes retrograde, it doesn't mean that you stop your whole life, but you need to be mindful, right? You need to be mindful of where Mercury is in your chart. So it's very important that you have a birth chart. There's lots of free resources online for that. Know where Mercury is in your chart and know where it's transiting, where he's transiting right now. That's very important. And, of course, we know it's not a good time to sign contracts, not a good time to start a new business, not a good time to buy electronics or even anything with moving parts. You do what you got to do, but keep your receipts, read and reread everything, but try to wait if you can because you don't have all the facts yet. You might have the energy and the drive to take the action because that's what Aries is energy, right? But you might not have all the information and you need all of that. You need the data, you need the action and the data. They work together, right? So after, I would say maybe around the 18th, 19th is a good time to start kind of moving forward with plans. You're going to get a lot of good ideas, and you're going to get um, a lot of insight, but this is probably going to be the best time for you to journal and write down the insights that you get. Hold on, I'm plugging in my charger here. Okay. This is going to be the best time for you to get those insights and just write them down, so that you have them, so that you can kind of mull them over and think about them. And this is a good time to can't even say the word, rework old plans, right? Things that projects that you had going on in the past, but maybe you didn't have the money or the energy, Aries, or the resources or the time. And now, you're thinking about these things. You're like, okay, I can probably make this work if I adjust this and change that. So this is a good time for that, right? Bringing those things back to the fore and seeing what you can do with them. Um, Now, also, Saturn is going to go retrograde. So 2 days after this new moon, we have Saturn going retrograde. And Saturn is a heavy hitter in the astrology. It's a big planet. Is it the biggest planet? No, Jupiter is. But Saturn's energy is very heavy. Saturn's known as the taskmaster. Saturn is um, the Lord of karma. Okay. And Saturn is also the great tester, the great teacher planet. Mars and Saturn, their energy is considered malefic, which means that it's not necessarily bad, but there's the potential. The potential is there for problems to come up for your awareness, so that you can resolve them, right? It's not about, oh shit, here we go, because that's been, it's been an interesting start to this year, and let me tell you. But this is good because we need Saturn to retrograde so that we can have time for integration of all of the lessons, because Saturn's about lessons, not always easy lessons, but Saturn rewards hard work. So again, this is good energy with this Aries energy and this Saturn going retrograde to do the work behind the scenes, to build, right? To take those action steps every single day and stay in the present moment. That's Aries, right? There's going to be, like I said, more development and integration wherever Saturn is in your chart. And this is going to be going on until September 6th. And Mars and Jupiter are going to also retrograde at the time that Saturn is retrograde. So this is going to be an interesting summer. There's going to be, the words false starts is coming up. But I think this is just good energy for you to continue building. Just keep swimming, right? Keep building, keep working at the projects, the ideas, the business day after day, those building blocks, and staying consistent and diligent, being the warrior, moving forward every single day, no matter what goes on, no matter what anybody says or does, no matter what's happening, you just continue to move forward and never give up, because Saturn will support you in that hard work. Saturn will support you in, that's Capricorn, the goat that climbs, right? And then we've got Aries there, the warrior. So this is good energy for you to work, right? To just put your nose to the grindstone and work. And there's nothing wrong with that. We in the spiritual and metaphysical communities, we're drawn sometimes to practices and to ideas and concepts that require less work. But we live in a dualistic world currently. And, we have to work. There's work involved, and there's energy here to support you in that work. So do it, right? Meditation, self-discipline, and hard work behind the scenes are the theme with Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. Now, Saturn, because like I said, it's a malefic energy. It can make you feel depressed sometimes and a little insecure. But that's just again, about awareness. It kind of helps you to see those areas in yourself where you're soft, right? Where you're mushy, not in a good way. And it helps you to kind of toughen up, right? Saturn's like, okay, toughen up. These things have to be done. We have to do these things. And it's going to take discipline and self mastery is the theme with Saturn, self mastery, and practicing extreme self care, being gentle and kind and patient with yourself, right? So when I say practicing self care, I'm talking about those things that you do on a daily basis, like writing your affirmations, doing your mirror work, eating delicious, healthy, good food, drinking lots of water, getting rest when you need it, having a good work life balance. Okay. These are ways to practice extreme self care and self love, making those doctor's appointments and dentist appointments and pap smears, right? And doing those things that make you feel good, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, getting massages, right? Taking care of yourself through this transformational energy. And I know you've been hearing a lot of if you're a metaphysical nerd like me, and you've been following a lot of the astrologers and some of the new age speakers and thinkers online. There's been a lot of talk about this event, and I'm actually reading the Triumph of the Light right now, because I'm so interested in this and I've been feeling this energy. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been getting a lot of messages, angel numbers regarding change and transition and things coming to an end, phases coming to an end. And this is confirmation right here with the astrology, with the lunations and the transits of these planets, right? That we are going to change or be changed. We are going to ascend. We are being upgraded, and we have support not only from the universe but from our galactic family. Okay, we have friendly ETs that are here to help us evolve, and they're all around us. We can't see them because they exist in a different dimension on a different plane, but they're around us, supporting us and helping us. Okay. So back to the full moon or the new moon. All right. This is good energy to help you easily release old habits and mental thought patterns that are keeping you stuck, that no longer serve you. They're going to be brought to the fore. This is a good time for soul searching, for going within, meditating, asking yourself, is this the right job for me? Is this the right relationship for me? Is this the right living situation for me? Depending on where Saturn falls in your chart. Now, it's not, Saturn is a slower moving energy, so the building takes time. It's not like Mars where things happen, early. Really, Mars is felt early. Like that old street, right? You're sitting there, but that's the visual I got, right? We want to go, but we gotta wait for that old man to cross the Cancers, Aquariuses, and Capricorns are going to be affected by the Saturn retrograde the most, because it's happening in very personal houses or houses that are definitely, if you are Aquarius or a Cancer, you should definitely be taking care of Aries too. You should be taking care of yourself. Chiron moves into Aries. Okay, Uranus there. Now we've got Chiron there. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is basically about bringing up those areas in our lives that need healing, bring old level, right? So things that happen to us, maybe along children or traumas. These things are being Aries. Again, this is about warrior, like doing something, taking action. So this is easy, I think, to initiate your healing process. Right? least I know mine has been through relationships, specifically intimate relationships. And it's going to bring up those issues because whether you like the common denominator in all of your relationships, especially up to this point, like mine have, okay? Tuning into myself and asking myself, dynamics am I bringing into relationships? Am I bringing in pain? Am I bringing in baggage? Am I bringing in, right? This is about wholeness. Chiron is about making you whole. Time. And, we have to be wounds and stuff surface. We have to be willing to let ourselves be vulnerable. Okay. And learning to be yourself, learning to asking yourself these questions. And with Aries, with Chiron and Aries, what am I fighting for? What is it that makes me, why am I here? And I definitely feel this energy. A lot of people are asking themselves that, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Because I feel like something is calling me, something is here, really getting quiet and asking yourself, why am I here? And getting out of pain and the muck of life. So I see this as the lotus flower that's growing out of the mud, or a flower that you see walking down the street that's growing out of a crack in the cement, right? So this is about finally taking action to get out of that pain, to heal those wounds that only you can do it. Only you can heal your life. And it's doesn't have to be, it might be a painful process, but it doesn't have to be a difficult process because it's really simple, right? Love yourself and heal. It's simple, but it's not easy. And it takes dedication and commitment. Now, if you 1968 and 1977, you are experiencing what is called a Chiron return. So this is about making peace with that pain and transmuting it, right? Integrating it, helping you be whole. Because when we're only focused on the light, when we're only focused on the good, that's not wholeness, right? We're multifaceted, multidimensional experience. So we shouldn't deny ourselves or try to suppress because they're not going anywhere. They're just going to lodge somewhere in your body and become a disease. And you don't want that. So deal with it. You have the energy and the support now to deal with that. Now, on the 22nd of April, we have Pluto going retrograde until September 30th. Now, Pluto is like what I call the gangster planet, right? He's the one that's kicking the door down. This is about power and control issues, reflecting on those. This is also about examining what may be holding you back from living your best life, from holding you back, you being a very conscious when we're trying to have power over other people, over situations and things, that's really based in fear. Personal power is the most powerful power that you can have. And that needs to be developed, that needs to be cultivated, nourished, and true power comes from within. It's just that simple. All right. Now, on April 24th, we have Venus moving into Gemini. Geminis are going to be extra attractive and delightful. Month of April. And for all of this is basically we're curious. We're curious and we crave variety, right? We find pleasure in doing things differently and, being around different people, experiencing different things. And this makes us, a little emotionally detached because that's Gemini, right? He's an air sign, she's an air sign. And we want to be mind fucked, right? That's a Gemini. They like to be mind fucked. This is going to give you pleasure to have those intellectually stimulating conversations with people, right? You're going to find those kind of people attractive and sexy. And there's pleasure in being intellectual, right? Going to like lectures and things like that, and listening to podcasts and being kind of nerdy. Those kind of things are going to make you feel good, going to give you give you pleasure, right? So let's talk about this new moon through the houses. We've talked about some of the transits that are going on. We've talked about the general energy of the new moon. So now let's talk about how this Aries new moon is going to affect each of you personally, generally speaking, with each sign. So, of course, Aries, this is going to be in your first house of you, your personality. And you want to be mindful of, oh God, this is making much noise. Sorry, y'all. You want to be mindful. Okay, bye, Instagram. You want to be mindful. Oh my God, excuse me. Live television, live streaming. Okay, what was I? Aries. Okay, you want to be mindful of what I call your inner demons, right? That inner gremlin speaking to you, right? Are you saying gentle, kind, and loving words to yourself, or are you constantly criticizing yourself because you're not doing things perfectly? Um, this is a time of and being brave about your healing, being brave about the transformation that we're all going through. All right. Now, Taurus, this is your 12th house of secrets of the shadow side, right? Tauruses, you guys are going through some really deep transformations this year with family and relationships. And so this is a good time for you to meditate, to be a yogi, right? To go within, to spend some time alone in silence and reflect on your life up to this point and where to be making those transitions and changes as we move into May and in the summertime, right? For Gemini, this is your 11th house of your goals and dreams and the money you make from the business you own, the company you work for. This is about your friendships too. So transitions and changes in these, being spiritually brave in these areas. Do these friendships, do these connections, do these goals and dreams that you have resonate with you anymore?